We're not spicing anything up. If anything, we're spicing ourselves all the way to counseling to try and fix this broken relationship. That's what we're doing. I'm sorry. A hooker is not a spice up of anything. If me bringing a hooker man, into the relationship, will that spice up a marriage?
Hey, you gotta lay pipe, bro. Once you get into it, like once you get into the relationship, you have to lay pipe. You can't get complacent. And it's natural, it happens. It's not just, it's human nature. The first month, first 2-3 months of your relationship, you're fucking like at it. You're rabbits, bro. Everywhere. All the time. Twat. All over the place. Cough. And this time you just, that zeal wears off. It's absolutely natural. It's fine. But that's not to say you need to get complacent. Because if you were lacing 5 rounds before, yeah, I'm not expecting you to lace 5 rounds every time you're jabbing your wife, but I'm just saying every now and then just try to pull out those 5 rounds you used to throw back in the earlier days, just so she can know, like, yo, nigga, still got this. Can do it if I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's important. I think that's one thing that's important.
Just to have fun together, to build together, and to just be successful together.
The second thing I prioritize in a relationship, space. And by space, I don't mean space as in go away for a week or disappear. I mean space as in me and my girl could be in the same room, could be in bed, could be, in the living room, and spend like a good hour and a half, 2 minutes, not talking, just me on my phone watching whatever nonsense I watch on my phone, her doing whatever she's doing, or me watching something stupid on TV. It's just like that kind of like something else type of thing. I think it's very important.
Time. I think in this day and age, we are so quick to fill our time with other things and be so busy. But actually, if we don't prioritize time in the relationship, then we are not getting to know each other. I don't think you can ever fully know a person, because as people, we grow and evolve every single day, every single month. So I think if you prioritize time, then you know your partner better.
Sex. You know what I mean? Sex. Like, a lot of people always have a stigma about sex. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people see sex. Sex is a good thing, but at the same time, it's a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Communication. And not just communication, but it sounds contrary. That space, but at the same time, talking all the time or spending time in the same space. Do you, like, in the sense that if you just meet your girlfriend, if you're just used to seeing your girlfriend out when you're on a date, or you spend the odd weekend in a hotel together, or you go over her, spend a couple nights, when you get to cohabitating, and sometimes you get married before you really got into that cohabitation of things, where you've gone to seeing each other like a number of days in a month, to being 24/7 up in each other's face. Kind of mom's not to work out how you work together or can live together, them synergies, that could fuck things up in the future. Because Unorambiro will squeeze a toothpaste from the middle of the tube. Silly things. You can get divorced with that. This motherfucker just squeezes the tube from the middle, and I can't stand it. 5 years in Chidaro, divorce, done. Seen it.
Energy? Is that even an answer? Energy, like the amount of energy I'm putting towards them, I suppose, investing in the things that they're interested in, investing in the things that they also want to do, learning more about them. I don't have to like what they like, but actually it helps if I know what it is that they like and why they like it.
Communication is number one. I don't know. Will and Jada have that good communication, but I don't know about the entanglement. But apart from that, their communication is good. So I like communication. Like, if something's wrong, tell me about it. You know what I mean? And I expect to tell you if something's wrong as well. Communication is a big thing. What else? I'd say love. But love is, we don't say that around here. You know what I mean? But love is, we expect to love each other, care for each other, love for our kids if we have any. 3, third one has to be, you have to respect as well. I think that falls under the same character, but respect is
Communication. I feel like I keep banging on about communication. So time, energy, and communication.
Yeah, sex is the key thing. That is something that I prioritise, and I've got a high sex drive. So for me, I love sex. So if a woman can't meet my requirements in sex department, then that's going to be a bit of a tricky one. Because I've got a very high sex drive. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So sex is a key thing. Someone who doesn't want to meet my family. So if I had a girlfriend and said, let's say she didn't want to meet my family, or let's say, for example, for me, I said before I marry my wife, because I feel like sometimes before you marry a woman, you got to put her through these tests to really prove that. Because a lot of people just get married because she's beautiful, we got we're vibing well, then they marry them. Nah, it doesn't work like that. You see, this is where Prince Harry and Meghan Markle went wrong. He married her, but he didn't really put her through the family first to see how she fits in with the family. He just thought, she's a beautiful lady, she's doing well for herself, then I'm going to marry her, bring her to the family. It didn't work out, and now he's lost his titles, his wealthy. So for me, I'd have to introduce her to my family.
If you can't be truthful about who you are, what you're looking to get out of a relationship, or even look to get out of in life, and all these other things, if just lying for you is your first thought and your go-to, then that for me is a deal breaker. Because I've learnt that one lie can cause so many issues, to the point that the whole relationship for that other person, if they're lying, becomes about keeping that lie covered up. And then if everything is now built on trying to cover up this lie, I think it can easily topple over. and there's things that I'm now not learning. But actually, if you're able to reveal everything of this is who I am, this is what I'm bringing to the plate, we can both have an honest conversation of I can handle that, I really can't handle that, and then we can go from there. So for me, the biggest thing is you have to be honest.
If you don't value me as a person or respect me as a person, and you're like, if you cheat, get out of here, man. See yourself out the door. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm gonna see myself out the door. I'm packing my things and going. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone has disrespected me or I've disrespected them, I see it as a deal breaker. Like, one of us has to leave. Do you know what I mean?
Cheating is a deal breaker for me in a relationship.
If someone's disrespectful, especially to their family or parents, that's like a massive off-put for me, because I've been brought up in a real traditional household based on respect as well. So yeah, if somebody was disrespectful to the parents or disrespectful to women, or somebody believed that, if my partner believed that he was more important because he was a man, that is absolutely no, deal breaker, gone.
An excessive want for material things. That materialistic, I don't like it. And definitely disrespect. Disrespect for me. Yeesh. Disrespect. And I think disrespect covers a lot of things. Disrespect for me could be in the form of disrespecting my mom. Disrespect for me could be in the form of Ron Magisa was my baby, are here, and you wanna, I don't know. Disrespect for me in general. Disrespect. That can't be taken lightly.
I don't know, like, yeah, I suppose if I vibed with him and I thought that we really got on well together and it went that way, then yeah, I would. But I wouldn't need to on the first date, but if it went that way, I probably wouldn't stop it.
I'm not too really phased about the whole sex on the first date thing. I'm not about to meet a girl, have sex on the first date, talk to them, keep talking, whatnot, or talk to them and, they turn out to be genuinely cool and someone who I really like and we really vibes, but then I'd be like, nah, I can't cover because we had sex on the first day. And that doesn't really make sense to me, because, what if, bro? What if you just got it like that? Who knows? Who knows? What if you just a saucy, irresistible, chocolate ass nigga like myself? I gotta bang this guy. Give yourself a little more credit than you think. I'm sure they haven't got any game plan. I'm not touching his dick until 3 months in. Not even looking at it. No. And then you get laid on the first night. Kudos to you, bro. Obudam Guantanamo Bay. Sick guy. It doesn't bother me. I think some of my most fruitful, longest lasting relationships, we didn't have sex on the first day, on the first encounter, but on the second encounter, on the first day, it's probably the only thing that stopped was the lack of a condom. But some of my most fruitful relationships, so I was like, yeah, I have a girlfriend. We almost had sex on the first date, so that makes sense. I'm not too phased about it. But then again, I'll speak for myself, because I like to give myself the benefit of the doubt. You just got it like that.
We're men and they're females. We both have urges, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can't help it, you know what I mean? Like, my last girlfriend, I had sex with the first time I met her. Sometimes you can't help it, you know what I mean? Like, if you got sexual chemistry with someone, you can't ignore them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So like a lot of people have had sex on the first day and they've ended up being together for the rest of their lives. So like I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can't help it. Like if you're both sexually attracted to each other and you're both like you got that urge, like the date is going well and you two can't wait to rip each other's clothes apart, then you know what I mean? Go for it. You know what I mean?
No, that's something I can't do really and truly. Like, I've been brought up to hide my pee-pee, you know what I mean? Yeah? Yeah, but more time, like, I can't do that. I respect myself. Like, you never know. I've seen too many movies where, you know, have you seen that movie, It Follows? Yeah, if you watch movies like that, you'll know. Do you know what I mean? We don't do that around there. She could be carrying something. Nah, I value myself too much.
Sex just complicates things. Sex puts up, like, I don't know, sex puts this pressure, and it's such a vulnerable position. Like, I'm thinking about it as a woman, it's such a vulnerable position to be in. And with the person you've just met on the first date, first of all, how do I know he's the man of my dreams? I am a processor. I need to go away and really think it through. Are you the man of my dreams? And so if we have sex on the first date, I feel like that just clouds everything up and it just complicates things and emotional turmoil. And for me as a Christian, guilt, I know that as Christians, there's no guilt, there's no shame, it's not from Lord, you know, there's no condemnation, but it's just that idea of, I know I know how I want to be living, and this is not the way to do it. So even if he is the man of my dreams, if we then have sex on the first date, I feel like for me mentally, there's going to be that block, and he's just going to be cancelled, and he's just going to be eliminated into the running of having a serious relationship. Because for me, I'm like, I don't know if I can carry on with this, because we've put something on the table that I feel we shouldn't have.
I don't think, no, my answer is no, I don't think they should be arrested for complimenting a woman. Obviously, we all have different intentions. I think if your intention is to sleep with someone, though, you should definitely make it known. I feel like misleading somebody is wrong and playing on people's emotions is wrong, but as long as it's not forced or manipulation, then I don't think it's sexual assault. But if someone is feeling uncomfortable and feeling like they're obliged to sleep with someone just because they've been treated nice, then that is sexual assault and that is manipulation.
I know a couple men that have done this though. Like, I know a couple individuals that have done this, but I don't think it's sexual assault. Like, if consent was involved, then it's not sexual assault, but it is a bit cheeky. You know, leading a female on, that's very cheeky. Like, tell them from the get-go, don't beat around the bush. Do you know what I mean? Like, tell them how it is, what you want. You know, don't waste anyone's time because time is valuable.
Nah, I feel like You know what? I feel like now this gross misconduct or sexual harassment or what do you call it? Or like sexual behaviour is kind of going way out of hand. You know what I mean now? Because I feel like we're kind of going a bit too far now. Because now it's almost like even approaching a woman on the roads is sexual harassment.
I don't think they should be arrested for sexual assault, but I think they should be blocked and deleted. I think as a woman, you should never communicate with them again.
It's nature. You know what I mean? If I see an attractive woman on the road, I'm going to compliment her. Sometimes when I'm in town, I'll be like, I'll see a beautiful lady, I'll be like, listen, darling, I got to say, you are a 10 out of 10. Or, you know, you were a stunner. Or, you know what, I'd happily marry you right now. And that's good for that woman. Because you know what, to be honest, right, it works both ways. It's good for that woman and it's good for you because you're building your confidence. You're kind of saying, I'm making someone feel good about them and I'm making myself feel good because I'm complimenting someone.
Women who compliment men by this logic and are nice to men and lead men on for monetary gifts should be arrested for fraud. Back at you.
Nah. You know what? I feel like now we are in a new era. And we're new millennium. You know, I feel like obviously we've moved from those 1960s days, those 1600 days where men were the workers, men were the manual labour, men would go out, work, come back, the woman would feed them. Because now we're in a different world now. Equality Act came in since 1940, and now women are allowed to work. A lot of women some women are getting, you know, high income than men, you know, and I feel like now some men are staying home to look after the child. So I feel like, obviously, in actual case, yes, the man is meant to be the breadwinner. That's how it's always been. You know, the man looks after the family, the man provides for the family, yes. But in more so now, these days now, like, it's equal now.
I don't think they're important in any relationship. But I think maybe they're a preference. So, obviously, when we talk about traditional gender roles, we're talking about the women stay home and they raise the children. The men go out and hunt and bring home the animals so that we can cook them. I think there's people who prefer that it be like that. And then there's other people who prefer that, you know, everybody does 50-50. I don't think they're important. Or actually, maybe they're as important as you guys make them in your relationship. I think it's a serious conversation to be had of what is it exactly that I'm looking for. For me, if we're going to go down a path of somebody has to stay home with the kids, I would prefer it be me to stay home and raise the kids in that way. But again, I don't think that just because I'm staying home, I'm raising the kids by myself. I think he's going back and he's coming in and he's also going to raise the kids. Just because I'm staying at home doesn't mean I'm not contributing financially or in any way to the household, because there's certain things that I'm also taking care of. So I think that yes, they can be important if you want them to be important, or they can mean absolutely nothing if you want to. They become whatever you make them, whatever you make of them, I guess.
Nah, they're not. Nah, it shouldn't be like that. It should be a 50-50 thing, or yeah, basically a 50-50 thing. Like, if I'm bringing money to the yard, you're bringing money to the yard. Like what can you put to the table? Like, I'm bringing stuff to the table, but what can you bring to the table as well? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think the woman should cook and clean. The man should this and that. I don't believe that. But I've often found, and again, it might come back down to the fact that I'm Zimbabwean and culturally, and some of the girls I've dated, and even non-Zimbabwean girls I've dated, they've just wanted to have this expression of caring towards me. A lot of them, I feel like this is how they've expressed. They care for me. Oh, babe, I'm hungry. Oh, I need you some dinner. No. Not to say the women are, but I don't know. I felt like it's come from a gestural point of things, which is really, it's an expression of life. Because women are nurturers. They generally more nurturing than men. And that's just natural. That's just the biology of things. I mean, don't shoot me. But I'm not saying they should do that. But at the same time, I also, as a man, would love to be the sole provider of my household, of my family. Is it a cultural thing? Maybe, perhaps. But as a guy, I feel like I would like that. I'm not saying that my woman should stay at home and ret-a-tear, and men should pay all the bills and ret-a-tear and whatnot. But I'll just say how, having been raised with these sets of values, it's inevitable that I'm going to have a bias in favor of it. If people refute them and say, no, I don't want no gender roles in this family, I want to do it, that's absolutely fine. You know what I mean? That's fine by me. That's totally fine by me. But I think if I'm dating a girl and she, what you call it, she's very adamant on these gender rules and these gender roles. Yeah, I'd respect that. I think I'd respect that. But cool. But then, if I then met someone who observed the gender roles, personally, I think I might find myself gravitating towards the latter. Not because women should be. I think it's just I'm biased. I'm sorry. Yeah. They're not important, but I see why they're there.
I feel like roles in a relationship are important, but I don't think gender roles are important. So I feel like if somebody is earning, say, a lot more money and providing a lot more, the other person should pick up the pieces at home and do a lot more around the house, because then it takes the stress off each other. But I think that it can work either way. I think if a woman's earning more money, then the guy should help more around the home, or whichever it may be. Yeah, I don't think that gender roles are important, but I do think that the same roles are important, but it doesn't matter who's doing them.
No, it's not. It's not important for me, really. But I used to think okay, let me rephrase that. It's not that important for me, but it is nice to have someone who you're on the same cultural understanding of things. Because again, for me, I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. I only moved to England when I was like 17 years, 17 and a half, 17, something around there. So I'd done most of my growing up. And it would be nice. Like, it's one of the things I love about my current girlfriend. Like, about my current girlfriend, like, that's gonna be like, one of the things I love about my girlfriend is that she's very traditional, like, very traditional. She understands tradition, customs, and all of this, and yeah, but she left Zimbabwe when she was so young. So many Zimbabweans that left Zimbabwe at the age that she left will tell you they can't speak Shona. You know what I'm saying? And she speaks Shona. She knows some shit about culture and tradition that I don't even know. But at the same time, if you hear her speaking in the other room, she's like the most British thing you've heard in your life. It's mind-boggling. It's beautiful. I fucking love it. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? She doesn't respond. When she answers my mom, she's home. She doesn't say yeah. I'm like, God damn. So I never used to think I liked traditional stuff and like want to be a cultural woman. But when I saw that dynamic play out home and just around the people that I'm with and how she carries herself, I genuinely was like, you know what? I dig that shit. I like that. But I'm not saying to everyone else it should be important. It should be. Previously, I was like, I don't care about it, but then when I got someone who really adhered to, not in a submissive way, you know, they kneel and but just in a way that just blends. Can you imagine? Muvet, British, it's just shit like that. To wrap your head around that. That's what I'm cooking with, bro. It's nice.
It's not a deal breaker, but I definitely do gravitate towards people with different cultures just because I find it super interesting, and I feel like it brings a lot more different dynamic to the relationship. Like, can I say anything? I don't date white guys. Like, that's just like a no to me. No. So yeah, so that's my only preference. Anybody else I'm open to. If you want the truth, that's like the whole truth. I cannot lie.
So you haven't dated a white girl?
I have, and that's where I went wrong. So for the last 2 years, well, a year and a half, I've only dated anyone else.
Anyone else?
Yeah. And mainly African people are my favourite. For real.
In my opinion, no. But my mum always speaks to me about this. Like, you have to find a black woman. Black. She has to be black. White women. They like to steal your money if you're successful. Yada yada yada. And I'm just like, yeah, I hear that, but let me just explore, see what's out there. Yada yada yada. Let me. Do you know what I mean? Let me find a woman for me in it. But yeah, culturally, if it's having that same, being on the same wavelength, like with the same upbringing, it's more relatable. You'll understand more on why things are like that in the relationship.
And I feel like African people are not entitled, like a lot of white men are entitled. They think they're owed so much, and I just feel like people like the Asian guys I've dated or the African guys I've dated, they're a lot more respectable and a lot don't expect as much as well. That's what I find.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, yes. I've been brought up in a house where we speak Ndebele, Shona, Zulu. My mum will speak Xhosa and no, is it Sutu here and there, but I don't speak it. And I think that my culture is very rich. My culture is very vast. Even I don't fully understand it because I've been brought up here, but I've had the opportunity to experience the pleasure of experiencing it, and I love that. I would prefer somebody else who comes in who has a similar culture to mine, just because I want to have my children experience that same culture. Not to say that if you're biracial you're missing out on anything, but for me, I want to be able to speak Ndebele in my house. I want to be able to speak Shona in my house, and I want to be able to do the same with my kids as well.
Not necessarily now, because for me, I feel like I don't mind going out with an Asian woman, like a Muslim woman or a Jewish or Sikh or whatever religion. You know what I mean? Because I feel, end of the day, it's you two in the relationship. If you got that chemistry, you both meet halfway, and sometimes two different cultures can work together. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, in cultures, it's all about love, family, and traditions. So if you can intertwine both traditions, then it can work. You know what I mean?
Who's not classing them as wifey material? Sorry, I didn't realize we're not classing God-fearing, successful, and working women as wifey material. Because if I'm going to want someone, like I previously said, if I'm going to want someone who has got their shit together and can make a plan, and if shit goes tits up, they can step in and then, we can go through this shit and say, how do we fix this? How can you disregard this woman? This is exactly the woman I previously described. Now, why some men might deem her as not wifey material, it's like some guys, their egos are genuinely fragile, and I can see why that gets some people a little hot under the collar. Because again, a lot of people like traditional stuff. But this is, nah. I think the people who find this bothering are tapped. You shouldn't be bothered by that.
Why do guys think that feminists are not wifey material? I think that decent guys do think feminists are wifey material. I think that insecure guys think that they're not because they feel like the woman has more of a say than them. And I feel like some guys get hurt when they think that a woman is allowed an opinion as well.
That's my first time hearing that, but like, I feel like God-fearing women, like God-fearing and successful women, are wifey material because they can hold you down. Do you know what I mean? Like feminists, they depends what feminists were going off. If you're on about Karen feminists, then nah, they're not wifey material. But if we're on about feminists that respect themselves, all about equality, then I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean?
I think they are wifey material, you know what I mean? Because they are the true embodiment of the pinnacle of what a woman should be like, you know what I mean? They're independent, they know who they are, they don't depend on anyone. And also, they have high ambitions. So for me, I feel like those three things are already three qualities that every woman should have. So for me, the only problem is with sometimes with God-fearing women is that sometimes they can be too boastful or too prideful. So sometimes it's almost like they might get offended over any little thing. That's the only problem sometimes with a woman that's God-fearing, because sometimes it's almost like everything that they say is right and everything that you say is wrong. So that's the only thing that might cause problems with someone that's so God fearing, because they don't see anything else. Anything that they say is right and anything that you say is wrong.
Who said we're not classed as wifey material? I genuinely didn't know we were not classed as wifey material. This is news to me. Now I'm trying to think, why wouldn't we be? I don't know. I feel like maybe if you're assertive and you know how to put boundaries in place for yourself about this is what I agree with and this is what I don't agree with. This is what I will do. This is how far I will go. I feel like maybe you can come across as standoffish or maybe as cold or unapproachable. And maybe then you wouldn't be wifey material. I don't know. I didn't even know we're not wifey material. I think we are, but it's okay. Am I getting married to the ex? Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
If I'm marrying somebody else and my friend is with my ex, that's absolutely okay because I'm happy with someone else. So if they're happy, then as long as my ex wasn't a bad person and I wasn't concerned for her, if she's happy, they're happy, I'm happy.
Somewhat, I won't be okay with it because like what was said, like it's like more time they could be comparing sizes, you know, they could be comparing, yo, who did it better, whose lips in better, do you know what I mean? So I'm like, nah, I can't do that to myself, and I'd be like to my boy, like, when did you, like, when, how, why, how, when, how, do you know what I mean? Like, when did communication start happening between you two? And at the back of my mind, I'd be like, what if me and my wife break up now and he's trying to move to my ex-wife? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here?
Fam, well, come on now, that's history, man. That is history. As far as I'm concerned, why would I be worried about my boy getting married? I mean, sorry, dating my ex when I'm getting married, when I'm about to be with the woman of my life, the woman of my dreams, the woman who's gonna have my children.
I'm about to get married, B. What you mean? Why am I bothered? I mean, I guess it depends. What far, how X ago is it? If it's like XE, because then at the same time, I also like to believe that by the time I'm getting married, boy, I'd have been dating that girl for a good minute before we get to marriage. So over that time, that's good enough time to get over my ex. Yeah, they can do that. It's fine. If my ex thinks I was bad, I can guarantee you my best friends are worse. Funny enough, my girlfriend hypothetically asked me this the other day. And my answer was... It's like, no. It's like, bitch, you trying to trick me. It's a test question. It's a trick question. Yeah. Yeah. No, but jokes aside, my wife comes with her again and says she wants to spice things up. Nah, I'd say no. Nah, I'd probably die. No, because no, I don't know. I really don't know.
Please drive her home because clearly you have lost your mind, and then you need to come back and we can chat about it. Spice things up. That's like making mac and cheese and then you're like, oh, do you know what? Let's just throw in something else that never just should go inside mac and cheese. That's madness. Why are we doing this? It's not okay. That's what I mean. It's not okay.
Fucking.
It causes problems because what you do is, what people don't realize is that sometimes when you start having sex with other people, you're going to have feelings for other people, and that is natural. Whether sometimes, you know what, yeah, you can have casual sex with people, you know, like we do, but sometimes when you're having a partner, you know, those feelings, those strong feelings you have for them, when you start having sex, those feelings are going to slowly go away a little bit. You won't realise it, but they will. So for me personally, I don't think it's good because you're gonna cause problems. Someone's not gonna be happy. Someone's gonna be like, even if you're both on it at first, someone's gonna be like, right, okay, I think you're having sex with too many people now.
Like, what are you doing? Babes, what are you doing? Because it'll bring problems into the relationship. And what I mean by problems, you know how women are, I won't say women, but women are chatty pies. Do you know what I mean? They'll be like, you know, after you do the deed, and they'll be like, yo, babes, who's better? Was it me or her? And then, wrong answer, bang, game over. The whole relationship lock off. She'll be looking at you the same. Like, oh, you messed with my friend, yada, yada, yada. You remember that threesome that we did, yada, yada. Like, it's long. Like, don't put yourself in that situation, lads. Do you know what I mean? It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I think that if that was a conversation beforehand, I'd probably, well, not necessarily hooker, but if he said he wants to spice things up, possibly with a threesome, then I don't know, I might be down with that. But I feel like if he just surprised me with something without asking me, then I'd be annoyed, just like anything. I'd be annoyed if, you know, someone put you in a situation that made you feel uncomfortable without speaking to you first. Yeah.
No! Look, first of all, marriage is for two people, right? You know me fully, and you know who I am and the way I think and whatever and all this great stuff. What possesses you to think, oh yeah, Jackie will be cool with it. She'll be down with me bringing a hooker. I don't share, first of all. Barely share my phone. Secondly, we're not spicing anything up. If anything, we're spicing ourselves all the way to counselling to try and fix this broken relationship. That's what we're doing. I'm sorry. A hooker is not a spice up of anything. If me bringing a hooker man, into the relationship, will that spice up a marriage?
The first thing I would ask you is like, that's how I was the spice. It's a word. Don't we got no spice no more? You see why it's important to pull out those 5 rounds every now and then from time to time, even because your woman's not gonna come telling you let's spice things up. This is like code for shy, right? Boys, you know what I mean? So I think you've got issues there, but I think by the time your wife is going to be coming with the red-to-tear, you know what kind of person. I don't think your wife can just surprise you with something like that if you didn't kind of have some idea of her sexual inclinations and how freaky and outside of the box she is. You know, you can't be with a wife that you feel like has been conserved, you know, this whole entire relationship, and then one day completely out of character just comes with a hooker. I'd be worried. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd. Funny enough, I was watching Paternity Court with my girl, and this guy is such a mess. This guy had he had his wife he was banging, but his baby mom was taking him to court because she was saying, you owe me child support because I just had a baby and you're the father. And he's like, no, that can't be my baby because the months don't add up. But then it turns out he was fucking her and she was fucking him and her, and then now they caught feelings for each other, and now they're beefing, and then there's a baby there, and then the paternity test comes and says you are the father, and it's fucking clusterfuck. Yeah, because what if the hooker's tongue game is dumb, bro, and she literally eats the life out of your wife in a way that your tongue could never. Now every day I go garage, babe, let me sit on your face. Babe, let me sit on your face. I just don't go there blind. She don't even want penetration now. All she wants to do is sit on your fucking face. So you invited these problems into your fucking own house. Idiot. Idiot.
Heads are coming off. Someone is going to jail. You did not just fucking disrespect me like that and had the audacity to let me find out in such a weak and pathetic way.